I'm Steve Tierney, this is the Madhouse UK podcast, and it's been a while. I always say that, I know, but I do get busy, to be fair. I think finally, though, the whole COVID thing is, well, I touch wood, say, coming to an end, because obviously it's still out there, and people are still worried about it, and governments all over the world are still taking measures to prevent it. But I don't know about the rest of you, but it kind of feels like the peak of it is behind us, and we're kind of on our way, our slow way out of it. It sort of feels to me like the governments of the world are putting measures in to make people feel safer, so that they'll go back to their normal lives, because they've so thoroughly terrified everyone, and perhaps rightly so, you know. But either way, it's been an interesting time, hasn't it? And interesting time, as you know. I've been doing a lot of stuff during all of this, volunteering, as well as trying to keep up with I couldn't actually stop my other day job, if you like, my industrial job, because the business that I run supplies the NHS partly. So for people who aren't from England, that's the National Health Service, and you know, it's so I couldn't stop doing that, and obviously Madhouse has carried on running, and some of you know I've also been opening a new shop, so it's been a really interesting and busy time. And my work as a counsellor has not slowed down at all. If anything, it's increased. So I haven't had 2 seconds to rub together, really. And then it's not been the deadlines for the turns have not been at all helped by the fact that a lot of our American players play by post, and we, as I've said before, didn't want to lose all of them, so we had to extend the deadlines. And there were other people who were struggling to get their turns in due to the whole COVID situation. It feels like it's coming to an end now. I've been hoping to end it for a couple of turns, but it's not been possible. And then, sadly, a couple of turns ago, Kerry Harrison, who's my Madhouse USA GM, tells me that he's got a great new job, and it's eating up a lot of his time, and he's just discovered he can't do Dungeonworld. So, well, I thought, oh no. And a couple of great players from America offered to do that, and guys, I would have taken you up on it, I promise. But Kerry found somebody for me who's, I don't know, but has been a GM for a company before. And Kerry absolutely assures me he's going to be great, and I believe him. Except that, well, so that last turn when he was supposed to take over and Kerry was doing the handover, the day after that he's apparently had some sort of injury and is in hospital. We aren't having a lot of luck just at the moment. So Kerry's back temporarily running things while we wait for the new GM to recover. So a challenge, that's been interesting. And that's meant, obviously, turns being a bit late again. This week has been chaos. And I keep promising that I'm going to do things, and then they run late, and everybody moans at me. Well, guys, I'm doing the best I can. I do think things are heading back to normal, but at the moment it has been a bit of a struggle. I promised recently on the Facebook group that I would tell you when the next chat rooms were. So the next chat rooms are 7 PM on the next 2 Sundays, which is Sunday the 2nd of August. Let me just check that's right, because I wouldn't want to tell you a day and it turn out to be wrong. Right, yeah, Sunday the 2nd of August and Sunday the 9th of August. Now, the chat room on the 2nd of August is a general chat room. We will be doing some bits and bobs in the game and taking some ideas for text strings and talking about classes and the like. But the big one is the one on the 9th. Now, that is going to be focusing solely on the final details of the coronation. And then straight after that, the week after that, the coronation will happen. Now, the coronation is going to take place out of game, and it's not going to be live role played. There's no an easy way to do it. So I'm going to be asking for written submissions, and that's part of what we'll discuss on the 9th with people who are involved in that. But also anyone else who's interested, don't think you can only come if you're directly involved in the coronation, because the whole kingdom is involved in the coronation. It's a new king for Bernie. So so that's going to happen, and that will be a big day, I hope. Lots of people hopefully can turn up for that one on the 9th, and the one on the 2nd. We'll have a nice chat. In regards to deadlines, I've stopped to do this podcast, but I'm working on the game tonight. Tonight is Wednesday the 30th of July, just in case you're watching this on some other day. I might get the game running tonight. I've still got quite a stack of work to do, so if I'm honest, I'm probably going to run out of steam before I do an all-nighter, and probably will run it tomorrow night. So I would guess your turns will be out early on Friday morning. That's a rough guess, and I hopefully no later than that. I hope it'll all go well. I've had some other problems this week because I'm currently recording it, and this might crash at any minute actually, and I'll have to record it again. But I'm currently recording on my favourite old PC, and I built this PC from scratch, from pieces, several years ago, and it's been a fantastic PC. I mean, I've got lots of PCs, but this is my biggie, my favourite. And it's like an old friend, this PC. It still runs really well, or it did until this week, when abruptly it just started freezing and needing restarted. Initially that was happening once or twice a day. Now it's happening about once an hour, sometimes more than that. When it happened earlier today, I couldn't even turn it back on again. It took me about 6 retries to get it started. It's running now. I've done a memory test, I've done a hard drive test, because those are the obvious things that go on old PCs, but they're both checking out alright, so I don't know the cause. I'm going to try and gradually replace bits of it, because I don't really want to lose it. I love it. But, you know, if I can't fix it, I'm going to need a new PC. And you know what that's like. You've got to install all the bits again, all the software again, and you've got to make sure all your files are transferred, and I don't want to do it just at the moment, to be honest with you. I really don't. But it'll be what it'll be. Okay, what else is there? Yeah, a few people I wanted to say hello to. So Stephen Rayburn is a new player who has been watching the podcast, I know, because he sent me a nice message saying he was enjoying them, and he's also talked to people on the Facebook group. He's kind of the middleman for a whole bunch of USA players, some of whom are new, some of whom are returning, used to play and have come back. Quite a bunch of new players have joined, not just from the USA either. There's 2 different groups have joined from the USA, about 14 or 15 new players in total, and about another 10 or 12 or something from elsewhere just in the last turn or two. So quite an interesting influx of new blood. That's great to see. I hope you guys enjoy the game. We treat it like a family. I've been running it for a long time now, 20 years, and so I've invested a lot of my life, a big portion of my life, into this game, and it's important to me that people enjoy it. So if you're having fun, let me know. If there's something you think can be improved, let me know. I'll do my best. Can't promise to do everything you ask, but I'll give it my best shot. Okay, oh yeah, and also Jordan Severs, sorry Jordan, I'm not quite sure how to say your name, and Jordan is one of our players who plays by post, who is responsible for bringing a lot of the new players in, I think, or so Stephen Rayburn tells me. So thank you to him as well. I got an interesting message on the Facebook group from Paul Malone. He was asking about the NVE program. Now, some of you know, some of you don't. The NVE program is one of the ways you can play the game with software that we wrote. It works offline but submits to an online server, so it clicks live and lets you submit your orders directly. It's got interesting bells and whistles built into it, but it's old and clunky. It was built a long time ago. The code is virtually impossible to work with now, and we've been trying to design a new version especially for Windows 10. Now, in order to do that, I have to pay my programmer, who's been my programmer for 20 years, Duncan Perham, and Duncan, what I tend to do is give him a few £100 at a time, and he does a bit and then tells me when the money's run out, and I give him another few £100, and that's how I kind of get through it. Trouble is, Duncan is also very busy. He's a fireman, as well as being doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and so it's not always possible to get him to work on stuff, and I haven't always got enough money to get him to work on stuff because I've got bills to pay as well, and it's been particularly difficult during COVID because I don't like to just give someone a job and then leave them to it. I like to oversee it, to check things, to make sure what's happening. I'm not going to kind of get somewhere down the line and find, that's not at all what I wanted. So it's going to happen. Eventually it will happen. I mean, the game is growing again. I mean, it went through a few years of, it wasn't shrinking, it was just kind of staying static, but we're growing again, and it's quite exciting actually. Hope you think it's exciting. I like the way things feel at the moment. Obviously COVID has been a bit of a fly in the ointment, but we will get back to normal. We will get back to several podcasts a week, I hope. That's what I'd like to do. And I'm aiming for that, but that's just been difficult for the time being. So people are asking how we're going to get the turns back on time. Well, I've got a holiday, COVID willing, and presuming the government doesn't ban flights to the place I'm going again. I've got a holiday the last 2 weeks of August. So my intention is to set the deadline for a turn just before that, this time, and then the next deadline will be set for the very beginning of September. So it kind of works out. It makes 2 slightly longer turns, but kind of works, and that should take us past COVID, I hope. Come my return in September, back to 2-week turnarounds, no more extended deadlines, no more waiting for postal players. Everything hopefully will be back to normal by then. People seem to think we're heading back to kind of normality September, October, but all of this is presuming there's not some change, and you get, COVID makes one of these dreaded extra waves or whatever comes back, or something else happens, or aliens land, or I saw a meme that said it was something like, well, what else can you do now, 2020? And then it had the pyramids taking off into the sky as flying saucers. And I've seen a few of these sort of memes. They're quite funny because it does kind of feel like, what else can 2020 throw at you? But you know, again, touch wood, you just don't know, do you? So who knows what's next? Anyway, Paul also asked another question. Paul Malone. He said, because we had to cancel the Madhouse Minicon, and again, I was gutted about that. We've only missed 1 year, I think, in 20 years. And there was extenuating circumstances for that. And I really didn't want to miss this year. I was really looking forward to it. I had big plans, but it just wasn't possible, not with COVID. So Paul said, if there's a vaccine produced, offered and taken up in the near future, would we think about bringing the Minicon forwards? Because, of course, there's really not one until next year. I did say, well, maybe we'll try and squeeze one in at the end of the year, a kind of a winter Minicon. I don't know if it's doable. I'll talk to you guys and we'll see what you think. But it seems to me like probably it's not. But we know, maybe I'm wrong. If we can do it, we'll do it. And I wanted to come out and do an American Minicon, and that's now looking treacherous. So who knows? Who knows where it's going to be? But I'd like to. And, you know, if the opportunity arises, I will. But I don't think, Paul, to answer your question, that there's a vaccine anywhere close. I mean, people keep talking about one, but I don't know. I'm sceptical about it. And I'm even more sceptical that if there was a vaccine, it would solve the problem. Because in the whole history of mankind, I think we've only ever stopped one virus with a vaccine. And that was smallpox, I believe. I'm not a doctor, but this is what somebody's told me. And then so the likelihood of being able to do it again, I mean, we've got a vaccine for flu, and that still kills thousands and thousands of people every year. So, I don't know. I've sort of got a feeling like this is a thing we're going to have to all learn to live with, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon, and we're probably going to have to eventually suck it up and get on with our lives. And that's difficult, isn't it? It's a difficult thing to say, particularly if you're vulnerable or have a very vulnerable family and want to keep them safe. I do as well. I suppose some could argue I'm vulnerable myself. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But, you know, in the end, if it's not going away, what are we going to do? Lock ourselves up in our houses for the rest of our lives? That doesn't seem like living, does it? So, I don't know. It's a difficult one and way above my pay grade. But I can tell you something. I'm not doing any plague or disease-based storylines in Dungeonworld anytime soon, because we've all had enough of it. And everyone will just be like, no way. They start demanding me to give them kind of government bungs for all the things that they run in the game. That isn't working out well for any governments, I don't think. So, interesting times. Chat room on Sunday, another chat room the following Sunday. Straight after that, just before I go on holiday, we'll do the coronation. Hopefully I'll get that out before we go. There's a couple of other surprises coming imminently, I hope, but I'm not going to make any promises because I've made that mistake before. I hope you've all enjoyed the Madhouse Summer Special offers. You've got literally until tomorrow night to take any up if you haven't done it yet, because come midnight tomorrow night, that's the close of Summer Special offers. No more special offers then until probably Halloween. So we've got a bit of a while to wait, and there are some good deals in there. So I would, encourage you to get on in, take those massive special offers, and that'd be great. But if you don't, you don't. Quite a few people, I did. Some people were saying, we want something if we don't have a lot of money, and we still want to have the chance to get some of the big offers. And that, I tried to do that. I put in the ability to buy the little lottery ticket for fairly cheap and get in with a chance of winning, and I'll announce the winner of that probably next week, or maybe at the chat room on Sunday I'll announce the winner of that. So somebody is going to get real lucky and win a whole big bunch of stuff despite taking a small offer. But if you really want to be sure of getting it, take the big offers. That's what I say, and I am a business. Anyway, what else have we got? I've got a few more things kind of to tuck into tonight. I've been working on a couple of interesting new areas I want to tell you about soon. And I've also started working on the next 5 new areas, but that probably will be when I get back from my vacation. Maybe I'll get it done before I go, but more than likely it will be September when we see the next ones of those. Somebody said to me, is there anywhere that I can start new characters up, any of these old kind of special dungeons available? Well, you can always start up at the last batch that were released. That's fine. But the trouble is, by now, a lot of people will have gone way ahead of you, so you're going to have some catching up to do, and probably you're going to just be running into the dregs of what are left behind when the initial force has smashed its way through whatever was in the way. So, probably isn't quite what you're looking for. Somebody else said to me, is there a new dungeon just for new players? Well, there has been in the past, but at the moment there isn't one. The couple that I created have since been infiltrated by everyone. But you know, if you're a new player and you want to explore somewhere interesting, you need to go for one of the old classic dungeons. And the reason is because, first of all, there aren't many people in some of them now. The old players have kind of made their way through there and gone on to different dungeons. So there's plenty to do and see that you won't have seen, and you won't be fighting millions of high-powered PCs for everything. That won't be the case. And that's where everything is. I mean, you know, those dungeons are packed with features, rooms to investigate and things to see. The newer dungeons have some of that, but they don't have anything like that density that the early ones did. So I think that's fun. It's a fun reason to do. And I think one of the 5 new areas that I'm going to do will be a return to one of the classic dungeons, but I'm going to add a completely new, or like a skin to it, if you like. So I haven't decided which one yet, but I'm going to kind of overhaul one of the classic dungeons. There'll be a story to it, so it won't just happen and you don't understand why. There'll be a reason why, and people who are already there will see it kind of unfold around them. And it should be really good fun, I hope, if it works. If it works, we'll see. So I think that's pretty much everything I've got to talk about tonight. I will try and do another chat room after I've run the turn, just to kind of talk about some of the things that have happened. And until then, I guess don't forget to like the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. And I'll see you later. See you, bye.